in to another edition of Started in Seattle. I'm Jessica Puck, and today I'm here with Billy Shang of Minyawns. So today we'll be talking about entrepreneurship, but before we begin, let's talk a little bit about your company.
Absolutely.
Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about Minyawns and how it was started?
So Minyawns was actually started right here in this interview room that we're in right now. So this interview is done at the University of Washington, where I was a student here as an undergrad, and I was part of the Entrepreneurship Club or Society. It's now known as the Burke Entrepreneurship Center. But before it used to be called the Center of Innovation and Entrepreneurship. So when I was a student at the UW, I did civil engineering. But on the side, I did some entrepreneurship. And one of our projects was, hey, go out and start a company right now. Let's see what you can do. So I was thinking about it, and I was like, what skills do I have, right? Like, I'm a college student. I should be relatively smart. I'm pretty good with computers. I think I can use technology, and I think I can use Facebook okay. So I thought about it, and I was like, well, I don't really have any specialized skills, but I would be great at giving someone an extra hand. So then we started hanging out with my friends, and I was like, it was probably like sophomore year where we had a fraternity, and we'd have to pay some dues, right? Sometimes we'd want to go on like a rafting trip together. Sometimes we'd want to go see a hockey game together, things like that. And I was like, wouldn't it be great if there was an app or a business that gave college students short-term jobs, so almost like a one-day commitment job? Because I can go in and I can help someone type up a newsletter that they want. I can help go in and maybe fold up their envelopes, help them do some online marketing, help them enter data entry into a Excel spreadsheet. And so that was like, I could be like a minion. And this is about the same time that the Steve Carell movie Despicable Me came out. And I was like, these guys are amazing. Like, I want a minion too.
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't? Absolutely right. And so we thought about, wow, well, college students are reliable, right? Like, people trust college students because we're trying to achieve a greater purpose in higher education. We want to get some work experience. We're willing to put ourselves out there and gain some work experience as well as just life experiences. So we came up with the idea, hey, let's send college students out there and do freelance one-day jobs. And hence the word Minyawns, which comes from minions so easy that you can yawn and relax because you can trust them and they're reliable.
Very unique. I like it. When did you start the company, and how long has it been going for?
So the company was first started around 2011, I think somewhere in the middle of my sophomore year. And what we did first then is we adopted the methodology of lean bootstrapping. Lean startup, bootstrapping, keeping costs low, and just getting prototype out there. I'm sure you're familiar with that, right, Jessica?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And what are some of the advantages of that?
Great question. So the advantages of that is you really get to test out the market and see if it's out there. I think beforehand what our professors were telling us is that a bunch of people wanted everything perfect, really nice looking websites, really well designed business models, and they wanted to get their company like 100% ready before they put it out into public. But nowadays it's more like, hey, get your product out there, even if it's a bare bones minimum viable product, see if it works.
Sure.
And so our first stages when we did our company is we only had one website that had a form, and it was saying, hey, if you want a college student to help you for a day, fill out this form and we'll contact you through email. And then we went around to all our friends and we said, hey, would you be interested in being on an email list that would send you a one-day job whenever we got them? And they're like, yeah, that would be a great idea. So our first couple jobs we did were freelance writing jobs. So someone wanted our students to blog for them. So they'd send us requests, we'd match them up with the student, and we'd pair them up, and we got really good feedback. And from there we were like, okay, this is going to work. And then next we went to event planning and wedding, where they just want someone to set up for a day. And that's where I was like, hey, this is going to work. Let's scale up a little bit, make it easier, and make it pretty.
Very cool. Okay, well, it sounds like it kind of took off right away. Did you have any challenges?
Oh, absolutely. So, like, I think one of the biggest things is every day is a challenge where, I guess, for startup challenges are like you never think your product looks good. I look at the website every day, and I think if you look at anything every day, you'll find flaws with it. So I looked at the website and I was like, it's not ready yet. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, I just have to push it out there. I don't care what people think. The second one is initially we had to do a lot of cold calling. And as any engineer I know, we all hate cold calling. Like,
I think most people do.
That's a good point. Especially, I guess, our generation, we're not the best. Would rather just whip out our phones and text someone.
Yeah, maybe you can cold text.
Yeah. That's a great thought. Hey. Business idea number 2. So I'd pick up the phone and I would like stammer and be like, oh gosh. And I had a script in front of me and it was like, hi, my name is William Shang. I'm from UW and stuff like that. I'd pick up the phone, call the first person, and it'd ring. And then they'd be like, hello. And I'd be like, hi, this is, and we'd just talk over each other and like, hello.
Oh,
like, no. This is Billy from, and it was just terrible. And it wasn't until like 100 calls where there was like a lot of calls before you feel comfortable about yourself. And it's never fun getting rejected, especially even if they do it nice. They're like, hey, you've got a great idea, and I'm like, no, but you don't like it. So that was one of the biggest things.
Okay.
I think the 2 other challenges, one is I'm the only person who's full-time, and being a full-time founder is a little bit difficult on the emotional side, because you don't get to share that success. Nobody's really going through your journey, so when you're happy and something goes well, you kind of go like, yes, way to go, Billy, pat yourself on the back, that's right. But if something doesn't go well, you can't really, you can talk about it with friends, but it's not the same emotional thing. So it teaches you a lot, or it teaches me a lot about, I guess, self-perseverance as well as just self-strength.
And can you tell us a little bit about your thoughts on the entrepreneurship journey?
That's one of my true beliefs, is that entrepreneurship, at least for me, is an adventure. And what that means is it's a modern day adventure where instead of going out and searching for treasure, instead of hunting bad guys, instead of throwing a ring into a volcano, startup is a lifestyle where you can go on an adventure in the white-collared working world, where you don't know what you'll be doing one day to the next, and you'll never be not surprised at what ends up happening.
And in closing, what is one business idea that you'd be willing to share with our viewers?
As I was watching football with my friends, he was telling me about the yellow line that generates a first down, right? And he says that like a lot of production costs go into producing that yellow line because there's so many different camera angles, and every time they do a shot they show the yellow line. So I was like, why don't they just have like a laser radar that they put on the sidelines, where they have the first down markers that shoot across like this infrared laser that can't be detected only through the camera. And it was like, interesting. So I was like, if anyone wants to go do that, feel free to go do that.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me today. It was a pleasure.
Well, thank you, Jessica. It was very nice meeting you.